Hello and welcome to another episode of Medici Rex, a place where you do not need to learn anything or spend any money. The mere purpose of this podcast is for me to hear my own voice, and you're more than welcome to partake in this experience. Today's topic is the zombie apocalypse. Now, when I say zombie apocalypse, I don't mean some science fiction film where these beings come in and try to take over and destroy humanity. I think there's a version of the zombie apocalypse that exists at this moment. And I think what that looks like is people, and I can only speak for myself, and this is where I start getting personal because we've been together now for a few episodes and I'm just a vulnerable person who says too much all the time. Oh well. Anyway, the zombie apocalypse that I'm referring to is one where you are sleepwalking through life, where you numb your sense of desire or hopes or dreams in hopes of just getting through the day because you're trying to fulfill what's been asked of you. You're trying to live your life for others. You're trying to receive approval in some shape or version or form. So you start sleepwalking through life and you forget what it is to allow yourself to want something. I was listening to this happiness podcast episode from Erica. I think the podcast called Erica Taught Me, and the subject was happiness. And the woman was talking about, obviously, happiness, but she was talking about wants. And allowing yourself to want things. And one of the exercises that she mentions is write down the 50 things that you want that money can buy. I had a very hard time with this concept. And it made me realize, wow, I really try to avoid wanting anything. I really limit the amount of desire that I welcome into my life. Because the minute you allow yourself to want one thing, then you start seeing all the things you don't want that are participating and taking so much of the time that you're spending here in life. Another thing that's related, podcast that I listened to recently, they were talking about, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode, so forgive me, about... What was I saying? And it was definitely a priest. It was about love and it was about commitment. But what I'm trying to get to is along the lines of commitment, that when you commit to something, you are freed. Before you commit to something, they were talking about love, but I take it as decisions you make for yourself and how you spend your life. Before you commit to what you want that to look like for you, yourself, in your life, you are walking aimlessly without any sense of direction, without any sense of optimism, really, because you are just going through the notions of living a life. Hence, zombie apocalypse, hence sleepwalking through life. Until you commit to something, this is the only choice you have, which is no choice. It's just blindly existing. Along in that same video, they also said, and I think this was the happiness podcast now that I'm referring to, and not the priest talking about love, they said that you basically trade your life in for your goal. And when I heard that, I had a revelation. I thought to myself, wow, yeah, I'm so focused on money, so focused on success, and goals have become a bit of a dirty word because you start with what your goal is, and then you start adopting other people's goals, and then you lose track of what goal you're actually following. But when they said that this is what you trade your life for, because all we have is time, and you spend your time to achieve a goal, so ultimately You're exchanging the experience of your life to reach something, to accomplish something. And if that is something that's not defined, and if that is something that you didn't even want in the first place, but a framework of thinking that you adopted, then no wonder you're sleepwalking through life. No wonder there's no sense of happiness. And in that video, she also said that happiness is a state of mind. It's not a goal. So that was another one that's like, oh, we all do it. We think, as once I reach this, then I will be happy. And she's like, no, happiness is a state of mind. Otherwise, you're just going to keep changing, what you are on track for. And really, what happiness is and what you're pursuing is growth, right? And growth is something that is not happy and bubbly and wonderful, because the only way to really grow is to experience something that wasn't a sense of accomplishment. It was more a sense of failure, a sense of difficulties, a sense of struggling. Like, that's how we level up, and that's how we work through and find ourselves better equipped to handle challenges. So I really don't want to be a zombie anymore. I want to commit to something. I want to have optimism. I want to exchange my life for something that I believe in, something that is beautiful, something that will mean something to, yes, of course, others, but first to myself. I think if you can't satisfy yourself, then you have no opportunity to satisfy others, because you are your own biggest critic. You are the one you spend your life with more than anyone else. So along the lines of me wanting to not be a zombie and wanting to commit something, I'm basically going to spend the rest of this summer dating myself. I think we're always like, oh, if only somebody would come amazing, that's beautiful to look at and ridiculously charming and ambitious and intelligent, and we just have a beautiful chemistry, right? I think before that ever becomes or enters my realm of life, reality, I want to be able to do those things for myself first, right? It's like that whole thing. When people complain about dating or whatever, first you got to answer, would you date yourself? And if you can't date yourself, then you got some work to do, because how else, why else would you be expecting somebody else to date you if you can't even handle yourself, right? And I can handle myself very well, thank you. But I want to have more fun. I want to have more optimism. I want to commit to myself fully. And when I started going down this rabbit hole, what I did yesterday was I bought a trip. I'm going to go to Spain. I've been wanting to go to Spain for so long, and I've been putting it off because it's so easy to be like, oh, I can't find anyone to go with me. Oh, it's not the right time. Oh, it's so much money. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, you know what? Let's enter a new chapter in our life. One where if we're scared of something, then we do it. And we commit to it. Because in my mind, I'm like, if I can, the way I see it is, first, I need to have fun. I need to have fun with myself. I need to know and practice how to have happiness on a daily basis and how to extract myself from the stress and problems that I build in my own head, because I have a problem turning off from work. It's not work's fault. Work is great. Work is a challenge. It's meant to be a challenge, but it's all I do. And as a human being, we need to be physical. We need to be joyful. We need to do things for mind, body, spirit, and soul. And that's your responsibility, no one else's. So, first goal, be joyful. Find fun things to do. Second goal, practice courage. Put myself in the situations that I've always wanted to be in and allow myself to try it out. Obviously, these are situations that are not dangerous. They're well thought out, well structured, well planned, but that are just out of my comfort zone. And then third, have a full vision. And when I say vision, because sometimes it's harder to see. I feel like first the feeling comes. Have a full feeling menu. It's like a catering menu of all the moments and forms of pleasure and comfort that you've welcomed into your life, and be able to know what that looks like and feel like, right? Because one thing that I want to get to the point of is, you got to fill your own cup before you fill somebody else's cup. I don't know how to fill my own cup all the way. I know how to do it sometimes, but then I get lazy. It's like the workout, right? Like you feel so good after a workout, and then you do it like 1 or 2 days, and then you're like, I'm really tired, or I'm really busy. And then you stop doing it. And then it's like, well, damn it, my cup is empty again. And like, how am I ever going to fill myself up again and like be happy, or like practice having a full cup? That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I want to get to practicing having a full cup in everything that I do, and bringing myself to every situation with the best version of who I am, and like what kind of love and joy and support I want to bring to those that interact with me in my lifetime. And then it will be time to look at the vision of what my life looks and start finding what avenue to commit to or how I want to commit. And maybe it's just a form of slight adjustments. So yeah, that's what I think of when I think of zombies. I go very psychological, very deep, very into all these ideas and thoughts. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I think it's helpful to start piecing these ideas together and to journal and to say what you're thinking. And when I say what you're thinking to people that support you and listen to you. Like, I hate when I start talking to somebody and I want to say something vulnerable and they just take out their phone, or they like get distracted midway through my thought. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I have my journal. I do not need this human being. So, have a safe place for you to share your thoughts, to share your plans of how you're going to escape the zombie apocalypse. Because it really is a choice, and life is all about perspective. And I want to have the most beautiful idea of what my life is at the end of it. Well, I hope this podcast was helpful to someone. This was less random. This was more my heart on a platter. But either way, if you did listen, thank you so much. And I hope you have the loveliest day.